Mrs. Latanza, how did you meet Matt?
We met at Debbie Reynolds' rehearsal studios when I was doing Xanadu, and Matt was a dancer in the show, and he in the movie, and we didn't have a leading man, so they brought Matt in to rehearse the dance numbers for when we got the leading man, and that's how we met. In fact, I was on roller skates, and he came in to do some moves with me, and I thought, he's nice.
Was it love at first sight, or just that he's nice?
Yeah, no, I thought he was gorgeous, but I had no plans on getting involved with anybody, and so we were just friends for a few months, and then it kind of grew into a romance.
You wrote one of the songs in this new album, for Matt and for Chloe.
That's right, yes.
Tell me about it.
Well, all these songs just kind of came to me in a very short period of time, but this one was, I don't know, I was just feeling, I guess, in a very loving mood when the song happened, and I dedicate it to both of them because they've, you know, filled my life with such a lot. So.
No Other Love. Right. Do you want to sing any of it? You remember the words?
Yeah,
Would you like to hear a little, just a couple of lines?
I want to spend my life with you. No other love could make me feel this way, where I can be myself and live the truth. No other love could ever let me be myself. There you go.
Fantastic. I was just checking the words.
Did I get it right?
You got the words right.
Good. I have no excuse because I wrote them, right?
But well, it's interesting. I mean, you wrote that in January of '94, of this year. In February of this year, out came the new idea story about basically you and Matt were splitting up. How do you put up with those sorts of stories?
I like to keep them guessing, you know, write the song, do the article. No, look, I don't know. The press love to write stuff like that because they, I don't know, if they can't find anything bad to write, they'll create something because it sells magazines, I guess. And that poor Princess Di, I mean, she's on every week with some story. I deal with it. Sometimes it's upsetting. That article actually was upsetting to me because it's very disruptive for a family, especially for a child that now can read.
Yes.
You know, and she picks it up and it's, you know, I think it's very destructive. I don't like it at all.
You also said at one stage that was one of the reasons you lived in America, that in some ways it was hassle-free, it was easy to be almost anonymous in America than right in Australia.
It's a little more easy because, especially in California, there's so many people in the business that they can pick on that you can get left out more, and you can be a little more anonymous. But generally, I've got to say the press here have been nice to me. I can't, you know, just occasionally they like to have a little gossip.
Yeah. Tell me about LA. I mean, you survived the violence and the earthquakes and even the bushfires.
I was so lucky. I was here. I was here.
But your house survived as well.
So
That'll do it every time.
I was here for the earthquake. I was here for the fires. My friends are saying, can we just follow your travel plans? Because I felt terrible because for some reasons that I couldn't be there because my friends were in a terrible state. That earthquake was really devastating. And people are still shook up. Excuse me. All shook up. It's Elvis again. I don't know.
That's right. He's here.
He's here. But the fire, I feel I was really looked after by somebody because our house is in Malibu is at the back of, and there are hills right behind us. The fire came right over the hill, went around our house and burnt 3 houses in front of us and went down the hill. And we lost the deck and we lost, you know, some superficial things, but the house is still standing, which is amazing. Apparently, there was some firefighters that came from the Midwest who were fans of mine, who went up to the house and got in the pool and said, I'm going to save her house, and they saved it.
Is that right?
So, and I've never got a chance to thank them. So.
They're probably not watching tonight.
No, they're probably not.
July the 3rd, 1992.
It was a pretty heavy day. It was my brother's birthday. I was in America and I'd been in and had some tests in hospital about 5 days before and had gone away for a vacation on that day and arrived at a friend of mine's house in the San Juan Islands, which is a beautiful group of islands above Seattle in America. Beautiful spot, and I was sitting on the deck, and my father had been ill. I'd just been to Australia about a week before that. Everything was happening. I was having tests, my father had been ill. I went to have a few days holiday before I was supposed to start a tour of America. I had a band in rehearsal. I was supposed to start the rehearsals on the Monday. This was, I think, a Friday. And Matt told me that my father died, and that was the first thing. And he, I knew he was very ill, but I didn't know it was very sudden. And
he had cancer?
He had cancer. And so obviously that was pretty traumatic, and I knew that I was supposed to start work on the Monday. So we had the weekend there, and I went back to Los Angeles on the Monday to start, and I had a message from my doctor to call, and I knew something was up. But the amazing thing about this was that Matt had known all along, the whole weekend, that my test had come back positive, but didn't want to make it any worse for me, because he thought it was enough to accept the news about my father without telling me a double whammy, which I thought was pretty amazing, to keep that to himself totally the whole weekend and not tell anyone.
Did he tell you, or did the doctor tell you?
The doctor told me, but he told me that he had known. So yes. I thought that was a pretty loving thing to do. So I went in there and I thought, well, what else could happen? I mean, so first of all, I had to assess what I was going to do. It's funny you say that, because you said that you found yourself for the next 2 days joking and laughing about it. I don't know, it's my reaction when things go wrong, or when I'm nervous or excited, I laugh. And I thought, I think it's a mechanism, it's a safety mechanism I have. And I laughed a lot. I thought, what else could go wrong? I mean, my poor father died on Friday. I've got breast cancer. I've got to cancel my tour. Koala Boo's gone. It's got to be it. It comes in threes. Now it's got to be, please, this is it. So, no, laughter did get me through, because I thought you have to make a decision in life. You either see the positive and you go with that, or you let yourself go into the negative. And I definitely wasn't going to do that, because I think, and I know that your mind is 90% with illness. You know, it can create illness and it can cure illness, and so I was very determined that I was going to be okay. So.
But did you confront the prospect of dying, the fact that this could kill you?
Yes, I did.
And rejected it?
I think the most scary was when I'd gone in to see the doctor that day, and I'm, keeping up, because I knew also that everyone around me, I was going to need support. And my friend Nancy Tudor, who had lost her daughter a year before, I'd gone through cancer with her and her child. And
this was Chloe's best friend?
This was Chloe's best friend. So she came with me. We're going, well, Nancy, she said to me, you know that you're going to set the tone for this. You know, if you are positive, then everyone around you is going to be positive. So it's really, and it was really words of wisdom that she gave me. And so, but when I went home that night and I went to bed, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and went downstairs, and that was probably the most frightened I was, because it was dread for a while, because you don't really know. I didn't really have, I didn't know exactly what they were going to do, and it was terror for a little while. But I had to make a decision then. I had to decide, do I go with this, or do I go with that? And your mind is very strong, very powerful thing, and your mind, you can make things real in your mind. Your mind doesn't know the difference between what you've created and what actually happened. So I decided I was okay.
Yes.
And so, obviously there were moments. I'd be lying if I said there weren't moments, but I was just, I'm fine,
Chemotherapy for how long?
I had 8 months of chemo. I had surgery first, and then chemotherapy.
And you lost your hair or not?
I didn't. No, I was very lucky. I put on, it looked very funny, like a tea cozy full of ice. I looked very funny. I looked like Mrs. Mop or something with this ice cap on, which helped. Yeah.
A couple of the songs on this album are, in fact, one is Why Me, and the other one is that you wrote after the chemotherapy.
Yeah, one of them's called Why Me, because it says, whenever anything happens, people very often go, why me? What have I done to deserve this sort of stuff? I go, really, don't say why me. Why me, why not me is the thing, because the truth is that why not you? And maybe there was a reason. I really believe that this happened for a reason to me. Maybe I wouldn't have written these songs had this not happened. I wouldn't be here.
That's
I wouldn't be talking to you after all these years had this not happened.
But here's a woman who's, you'd been very healthy. You're a vegetarian for a long time. You'd never smoked, never drunk, never taken drugs, exercised, all these sorts of things. I mean, why you?
It's a good question. I think that I was under a lot of stress, and I was trying to take care of everybody. And I went to a therapist the first day. Nancy took me along to her therapist and said, you need to talk to someone, get this out, how you're feeling. Because I tended to be a person who suppressed emotions, and if I was upset, I'd push it down. I wouldn't let people often know how I was feeling if I was angry, because I always had this good girl, nice girl, the image, you never got angry, you never, and that can be very unhealthy because you push it down. And one of the first things this psychiatrist said to me was, have you been taking care of everyone, And I said, well, yes, and I told her about my life, and she said, well, you've been breastfeeding everybody. You've got to let them go. You've got to wean people off you. And it was kind of a revelation. I went, oh, my goodness, I hadn't thought of that really, but it was a good image for me. It was like, take care of yourself, because I always was putting everybody else